Absolutely gorgeous, full color graphic, the same illustration that was in the promotional piece in the very beginning, saying you need to buy this camera because you're going to be able to create this lifestyle. Well, now you need to buy the projector so that lifestyle can become a reality.
Well, if you got $1, well, just lousy down. Know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine. You can take or leave me, but you ain't got much time, 'cause I just keep on rolling down the line.
Hey, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Welcome to my channel. Wanted to bring to you a video today that's going to highlight a collection of vintage ephemera that I picked up that will be available for resale that I thought was kind of a special collection that was somewhat of note and interest that highlights the Bell and Howell camera company. And what I have is a series of brochures, sales documentation, ownership manuals that come from an individual that collected all of this information and had in a big folder because he himself had purchased a Filmo 8mm movie camera. And I have been dealing a lot in ephemera lately. It's fun to collect. I do have several collections based on paper, but it's also fun to resell because it's always different. It's something that a lot of people, it's not really available by its definition. Something that's ephemera was ephemeral. It wasn't designed to be around forever. So most of these pieces don't have a lot of similar ones out there. And so when you get an entire stash of pieces that are all related to the same subject, it makes it as interesting miniature deep dive, shallow dive, that just kind of talks about the Bell and Howell company, the product, and how it sold it. So there's some absolutely fantastic advertising that was done in all of these pieces. So for right off the bat, this is probably one of the best ones. You can see it's actually a die cut brochure. It has a little, fabric tie, like a little diploma or something like that. It's die cut in the shape of the camera, the Filmo Sportster features and guarantee. It's got the Filmo logo on the back. And inside, you have just some great mid-century modern graphics that talk about and promote the Filmo Sportster camera. Now, I actually have, as part of the documentation, the paperwork showing that this is the item that this individual did buy. So he, somewhere along the line, he had one of these and he kept it and then kept it all together as part of his Bell and Howell collection. And so I kind of broke the collection down into little sections that really kind of highlights, almost from a huckster perspective, what Bell and Howell was doing to market its products and how it was trying to make them attractive to the audience of the time. So the first section, what I've got are all these individual brochures that were specifically for promoting the camera itself. All of them have just some fantastic graphics, going through them, either illustrating the camera itself. You've got some illustration of some of the additional equipment that was available because, always be selling. And this one opens up. It's got a little brochure. It's got a, image of the camera, so you know what you're trying to get. But then you open it up and just check out this full color illustrated like miniature poster that shows a woman using the camera, some color representations of the film that's been captured, family sitting around watching simplicity itself, watching home films, all 8mm, and then the Filmo Picture Master projector that you got the camera. Now you need to get the projector so that you can do all of this at home. Ephemera is great to collect. Ephemera is great to study, and it's just a nice little time capsule of whatever it is that you've got, like this camera. But I am Trusty Huckster. I am all about selling. Things like this look fantastic framed. So if you put this in just a black frame floating on a piece of black construction paper behind you, you don't even have to get it fancy, and hang this up in your family room, anywhere in your home, as guests come over, maybe they're watching your big screen TV and they see this over on the side, you're the only one that's going to have this. And it's a conversation piece. I mean, just look at that art. And that's why it existed. Look at that art. You see this, you create this environment. Bell and Howell is creating this environment. You too could participate in this by buying the Filmo camera. So that one is a really nice piece. Several of them are similar. So you've got the companion movie camera. It's got the same kind of descriptions on the back. This one, a little bit simpler. It's got a couple of illustrations, not quite selling the lifestyle as the bigger poster. This one's just a little pamphlet, but you can see what you get with Filmo Auto 8. So you've got, this might be a slightly different model. So you've got different versions of it. Now this one, you can see there's a blank spot at the bottom. This would have been something that, in an ideal world, would have been printed with the photo studio or the Photoshop that you could buy the equipment, would have their information on there. This one probably came directly from Bell and Howell, so that is blank. And the reason I say that is because I actually have an envelope that a lot of this size brochures seem to have come in this packet. And then you've got this bigger one. Check out just the graphic just on this. Just picture that. There you go. That's what I'm asking you to do. Filmo Sportster, absolutely beautiful sailboat graphic. And it's another style that you open it up. You've got additional images, some additional great graphics on the back. And once again, open it up and you've got more images. So this one, not quite the poster to frame, but you could just put this in a little postcard frame and you've got, again, a little standalone conversation piece that most likely none of your other friends are going to have. Similarly, so those are all promoting the camera, but you can't just have the camera. You need the accessories as well. And some of these are, again, trying to promote the lifestyle. The Bell and Howell Filmo camera accessories. Just check out all of those illustrations. The bathing beauty under the umbrella, the mountains, we're fishing. Again, same illustration in the back, because you always got to support selling the additional equipment. And this is actually kind of a booklet. So this one has a lot of illustrations, a lot of information. That this ends up being somebody that, yeah, you can frame this. It looks fantastic, but this is something you create an ephemera bowl, maybe a camera themed ephemera bowl, put something like this in there. It's a great conversation piece because somebody could pick that out and just start looking at some of the equipment and say, oh, how has that changed since the 50s? All this came out. What does it look like now? And, tripods still look like tripods. So it's just kind of interesting to, again, get kind of a time capsule. You've got information on filters. So some of it can be educational, more information on accessories and also the projectors. Check out those bulbs. So again, a little booklet, artwork, information, educational, but pretty graphic. If you happen to have a green color scheme in your home, that would look fantastic in a frame. And then, educational, again, sizes that's available. So some of these may have a different home. Some of these might be purchased and collected by a Bell and Howell collector because they want all of the different information about the different types of material that was available at different times through Bell and Howell's history, or they're available for decor. Where it gets really interesting is those were all the pieces that says, here's what you should buy. Well, it appears that John Cullen decided to buy. So he purchased on February 8th, 1949, the 8mm Sportster camera with 12.5mm f-stop 2.5 universal, some focused lens. It's all abbreviated, so I'm not 100% sure what I just said. And the sheath case for an additional $5.90. So all of it together was in $1949, cost $64. So this was not a cheap purchase back in the late 40s. But you've got duplicates of all of his sales collateral, and he kept all of this. And so we now know he owned one of the Filmos, and we know exactly when he bought it. Once you bought it, you then got the information of how to make movies. So there was this, I'm not sure how he would have or where he would have gotten this. It says Bell and Howell right on there. So I'm assuming this was just mailed to him. But it seemed very homemade. It's like typed letter pages that are just stapled together. But it has things like tables about the number of flood lamps, photo flood lamps to use. So it's just details of how to use and how to make indoor movie making. That's what this packet was called. So it basically was tips on how to make indoor movies. There's another booklet that was available, how to make movies in natural color. So here we've got a photograph on the outside in full color with an illustration of a guy looking at it through the camera, I guess. Camera looks a little, the curvature of that makes it look odd, but yeah, so he's looking down trying to film that, and that image wraps around. But check out the inside. As much as I hate the idea that ephemera like this would ever be torn apart, because this is actually in really good condition, the fact is ephemera needs to have a future life. Not everyone's going to want to know everything about Bell and Howell, but that image could be cut out and framed, and it's better than any postcard that you would hang on your wall. It's just a really cool look of a very specific point in time, and mid-century modern is popular, and this is a really cool piece. But as you do now, when you purchase something, you get the owner's manual, and in the owner's manual, you would have the card that you would send in for registration. So this is the Bell and Howell lifetime guarantee is void until you register the serial number. So this card has been torn out. You used to have the serial card, or the registration card was part of it. And we know that he sent that card in because we have a letter from Bell and Howell that thanks him for sending in that letter. Dear Filmo owner, thank you for returning the registration card for your new Filmo 8mm camera. So you've got some Bell and Howell letterhead. It's got a watermark on it. You can't see it from there, but I can see it from this side. You got the signature of the president, theoretically, probably a stamp, or signed by the secretary, it looks like. So you've got the letter, and with that letter came another brochure. So kind of like a newsletter about that you would get as an owner of the Bell and Howell camera. So you got attracted to all of the advertising. You got totally overwhelmed by all their literature and all their sales collateral saying this is the greatest thing, you need to own it. You now own it. You have it registered. You've got all the tips of making great films, both in the little letter as well as the catalog. Well, then you need to edit your films. So now there's another brochure for the film editing equipment from the Bell and Howell company. Same illustrations on the back. They're always going to promote their individual accessories, but inside you've got, purchasing reels and cans, all of the items that you can purchase from Bell and Howell, so that your entire experience, cradle to grave, is controlled by the Bell and Howell company. And less graphic than the first poster, but another open poster that gives some fantastic illustrations showing the equipment available from Bell and Howell for splicing, for viewing, and for prepping the actual film that you've created with your Filmo 8mm piece. Another great illustrations, another editing is fun. Filmo editing equipment. Again, perfect gift for someone who maybe is into films or maybe is a film editor. Here's how it used to be done. And you've got this great, again, a great breakdown, illustrations, photographs, some graphics showing everything you need to do to edit your film. And once you're done, you got to be able to show it. So you need to purchase the Bell and Howell company Picture Master projector. Same illustrations on the back, so we're still going to try and promote everything else, but now we've got the final sales piece. Opens up home movies, creating that environment. That's why you bought the camera, to create these home movies. Check that out. Absolutely gorgeous, full color graphic, the same illustration that was in the promotional piece in the very beginning, saying you need to buy this camera because you're going to be able to create this lifestyle. Well, now you need to buy the projector so that lifestyle can become a reality. And so you've got a beautiful image of the home movies, a great breakout illustration of the actual Filmo projector, the 8mm Picture Master, its carrying case, everything you need to know about it, all folded up in a nice little brochure. So vintage advertising is fun. Vintage ephemera is fun. It's collectible. It's decorative. It's all kinds of different things. The Bell and Howell company, I think pretty sure it still exists. I guess I should have checked, but definitely was a name that I was familiar with. But I'd never heard of the Filmo company, or Filmo product. So I don't know how long these were available. Again, the purchase was made in 1949. Most of the brochures, none of them have dates on them, but some of them have codes printed into them that I was trying to figure out. I think some of them were printed in the 50s and possibly getting into the 60s. Because you figure he probably owned it for a while. The zip code changed, I think, a couple of times. I think earlier it was different. Now it's a 45. But they had different locations. Bell and Howell Company in New York, Hollywood, Washington, D.C., London, and Chicago. Again, just some great advertising. This one I didn't open up. This also has a great poster showing the different of how filters can be used. It's an interesting collection. I will be making all of this available for sale, and I'm probably just going to keep it all as a lot. Figure a Bell and Howell collector may want to buy the whole thing, and a lot of it is in really, really good condition. So be watching for this to go live on my eBay channel. But for now, even if you're not interested in purchasing it, thought you might be interested in just seeing this is what vintage advertising can look like, and maybe get some ideas of purchasing some of your own and using it for your own education or for your own decor. So appreciate you watching the video. Thank you for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Well, show me a sign if you're wishing me to stay. Otherwise, I say goodbye, finish out the day. And that sunrise in the morning and you got nothing to say. Oh, that's when I'll be headed on my